Hello and welcome to the best and worst of 2022, where I will tell you what I thought was good this year and what was bad this year in terms of movies. This isn't everything I saw this year. Some of the stuff I just forgot to put on the list and I didn't realize until it was too late, or I watched it too late, or they just weren't worth talking about at all. Like, they were just nothingness, and I already had a lot of movies on here. So if there's something missing, it's probably one of those reasons, and it's okay because maybe it'll be on next year's list. You don't know. Real quick, honorable mention to some TV shows that I think you should check out. Dahmer was very good. The Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, not really a TV show, but a TV movie, very good. And Smiling Friends, check those out. They are awesome, very entertaining. For very different reasons, obviously, but they're all good. That's about it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know. Leave a like. Subscribe. All that. This intro is going on for too long.
And now, our feature presentation.
Am I really gonna defile this grave for money? Of course I am! Jackpot!
I saw the film.
Blonde.
I did not enjoy it.
Blonde. What is there to say about this one? A lot. And also a little, because I don't want to talk about it too much, because it's a terrible, terrible movie that no one should watch. But it is terrible in a way that you might not expect. The film is well made. It's well shot, well acted. And you would think that would be good, but then it's like, oh, hold on, guys. We're gonna exploit a dead person's life for money. Remember this time that Marilyn Monroe got abused, and then she 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 died. That's the movie. It's awful. It's terrible to watch, and I hate it. I really, really hate it. For every other movie on this list, they might be bad, really bad, unwatchable, but at least they are not disrespectful to someone who actually lived in their entire life. I think that is absurd. I think it is an absurd fucking thing that they did to the legacy of her, because there's so much stuff she did that was actually cool and good, but none of it is in the movie, because the movie is based off a book that was written with the fictional history is what I think they called it. So they wrote a book about a real person but didn't make any of it real, but none of that is ever made clear in this movie. They don't even tell you that until after the credits roll. It's so bad. It's so bad. And if you want to hear me go on a full rant about this movie, I have a video on it. Check that out. But yeah, this is a terrible movie. It's also way too fucking long. It's like 3 hours. It had no right to be 3 hours long, because it just doesn't end. And oh god, I keep. All right, last thing. There's a scene that it comes out of nowhere where she's just all of a sudden it's an anti-abortion story, which is insane. It's just out of left field. I'm not kidding. A fetus starts talking to Marilyn Monroe, and it's out of nowhere. It's crazy. I couldn't fucking believe it. I was losing my mind. This movie is terrible. Never watch it. Fuck off, movie. You fuck off.
Knock that off, you two. It's time for church.
We're not going to church today.
What? You give me one good reason.
It's Saturday!
Okily-dokily-doo.
Father Stu tells the story of Father Stu, a guy who becomes a pastor after being a criminal and tries to be an actor. But he gets into an accident and then he's gotta be a pastor. And the entire movie is just telling you, hey, how cool God is. And it's boring as fuck. There are 5 fade to blacks at the end of this movie. And at the 4th one, I wanted to leave so bad that I got up out of my seat in the theater and I just sit back down. Because, it wasn't over. Because, of course it wasn't. It's like, if you want to go to church with Mark Wahlberg, I suppose this is a good movie for you. Or if you just really like God, go crazy. It's on Netflix, I think. I don't care about anything. I got nothing else to say. It's a bad movie. It's a really boring, bad movie. But at least, unlike Blonde, it actually respects the character it is based off of. So there's that. And by character, I mean real person. You know what I mean. I say characters, I'm talking about real person. It respects the real life of Father Stu. Anyway, this movie's really bad. 2 out of 10. We gotta talk about more movies, so this one's quick. It's bad. Don't watch it.
I got that harmonious odious, cause the bats are copious. My blood flows harmonious, bound to act felonious. You know they hating us, and we're getting treasonous. Ooh, when they get bit with the Morbius.
Morbius is a film that we've all seen. Even if you've never seen it, you've seen it. There's not much to say about this one. But I just wanted to say that if for some reason you've not seen Morbius, it is a movie and it can be watched. And I watched it. It's Morbid time.
Morbid time.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I have a confession to make. I am not a big Jurassic Park enjoyer. I'm not a big dinosaur guy. They're cool, but I've never been like, oh, these are the fucking... This is the good shit right here. This is so crazy and cool. I think the first Jurassic Park movie is a classic. It's insanely good. It looks incredibly cool. And there are some legitimately scary scenes in that movie. There's not a Jurassic Park sequel that I enjoy at all. I don't care about any of them. I don't care about the original sequels. I don't care about the new reboot. These movies are nothing to me. And this one had the added bonus of being fucking boring. At least with the other ones. I haven't seen all of them, by the way. I didn't see the one before Dominion, Fallen Kingdom. I didn't watch it. Don't care. Dude, comment, oh, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. This movie's just boring. They don't focus on dinosaurs. They don't focus on anything, really. It's kind of all over the place. There's locusts, and they focus on that. And then they focus on Evil Corporation. And then they focus on taking down Evil Corporation. But then they focus on the Velociraptors that have, and they have another cycle chase, and then they get trapped in an island, and the island is full of dinosaurs that broke out or something. I don't remember. It's a bad movie. It's really boring, and I didn't like it. That's it. I got nothing else for you. This is a big nothing of a movie. I literally have nothing to say about it besides it was really fucking boring, and I don't want to watch it again. So there you go. Was that enough? I got nothing. I really tried. I really did. I've got nothing to say about this movie. I wish I had more. I have nothing. This movie is nothing. It is, however, a movie. It is very Morbius-like in that way, where it is a movie, and I did see it. So maybe I'm stupid. Maybe there is something to this whole Jurassic World thing. With that being said, this is a 2. This is a 2 out of 5. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you guys. This movie is the most forgettable thing ever imaginable. I don't have anything to say about it. It's really bad. Don't watch it. It's nothing. It's a generic bad horror movie, and that's literally it. There's nothing to say about this one, so we're speedrunning it. Bad. Don't watch it. I'm very excited for this one. Texas Chainsaw 2022. We were gifted a movie so bad that it's good. The first half is a little shaky, but once Leatherface gets introduced, the movie becomes a comedy. It is so funny. Everything is funny. Nothing makes sense. The characters are dumb. For some reason, they try to drive in school shooting themes and really weird things into a Texas Chainsaw movie that didn't need to be there, but they're here and it's really confusing. They also bring back original, like, final girl, but it's not really her because the original actress sadly passed away, so we got the same character played by a different person, which is weird. I don't really like that much. I feel like if you're gonna bring it back, you should have just not brought him back. That's my opinion, though. I don't know, you might disagree, but you know, it's a really bad movie, and it's not good, but I love it. I've seen it once by myself and once with my friends, and I cried laughing both times. The second time, I learned there was a post-credit scene, and I fell on the floor laughing because it was so bad. I can't recommend this one enough. If you have a group of friends, get together and watch this movie, because it's great. It's a great watch with your friends. It's really fun. It's awful, though. It's very bad. Everything about it is bad. There's nothing really good about it. The special effects are alright. Yeah, they're... Special effects are alright. Yeah, that's about it, though. It's a bad movie. It's not good.
Bro, I'm really about to get your pickle chin that boy. Egg on that concrete.
dead ass boy. Oh, hit on for your dirt ass boy, stink ass boy.
Thor: Love and Thunder is an interesting movie for me because I was extremely looking forward to it. I'm a huge fan of the director Taika Waititi and his other films. I love Thor Ragnarok. I love Jojo Rabbit. He's made a bunch of great movies. And I am super, super sad to say that this is just not it. This is not good. It's horribly paced. The CGI is bad. The acting is annoying. It's not bad because the actors aren't bad, so it's not really their fault. It's the writing. It's very annoying. I don't know if this movie was rushed or if he didn't want to make it or what's the deal, but it's not good. It's not good. Christian Bale's the best part of this movie as the villain. I don't remember the villain's name, and if you think I'm looking it up, well, guess what? No, I'm not. I'm not doing it. He's really cool, though. I liked him. I think he has a really sad backstory, and I think if they focused more on him, honestly, the movie would be sick. It would be so cool, because everything with him is so fucking cool. And the intro to this movie is fantastic. It's the best part of the movie. It's so brutal and actually fucked up, kind of, and sad. So, where did they mess up? I don't, it's tough, right? The writing... The pacing is all over the place. It's like really good at the beginning and it seems like it's going one way. And the jokes, it's just not a funny movie. It's way too unfunny. And it's trying to balance this very serious villain with this very unserious hero. And it just doesn't work. It didn't work for me at all. I've not seen it since I saw it. One thing I will say is when I went to see this movie in theaters, I wasn't sick, but when I halfway through, I got really sick. Like I had to throw up. I went home and I threw up all over the floor because I just hit me out of nowhere. So that's how bad the movie was. It literally made me vomit. That's not what happened. I just ate some bad food, but still, it's not good. Ghostbusters Afterlife is the reboot of Ghostbusters, and it's not terrible or the worst thing you've ever seen. And you might be wondering, well, John, why is it so low on the list? And I'm going to get there. It's because this movie is painfully average. It's nothing. When I was ranking these, I got to this one, I'm like, I get nothing. It's kind of like Jurassic Park in that where I'm not a giant Ghostbusters fan. And this movie is better than Jurassic Park, I guess. It's better. It's not like you're gonna watch and hate it or anything. But I don't think you're gonna walk away from this movie going, yippee, I sure did watch a great movie. You're just like, it's fine. And I hate that. If you're gonna make a bad movie, make a bad movie. I'd much rather have a terrible movie. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Paul Rudd's good. The acting's fine. I really like the main kid. She's really good in the movie. That's it. I don't got much for this one, guys. I'm really sorry. If you like Ghostbusters, I'm sure you'll like it more than me. There's a lot of callbacks, references. It's basically like The Force Awakens of Ghostbusters. That's the best way I can describe it. So, it's like, I don't know. To me, it's pretty bad. I don't ever see myself watching it again. I just didn't love it. Yeah, so anyway, rating, I don't know, fucking 3. It's a 3 or 4. It's a 4. It's a 4. I'll give it a 4. That's how I feel. A 4.
Hey, hold up a minute, Nate.
You okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I just got something needs saying, that's all. Goddamn. 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 Goddamn it.
The Uncharted games are fantastic. Sadly, the movie is not. It is a generic Indiana Jones style story with horrible casting. I'm gonna keep this one short. Play the games, they're great. 3 is a little bad. I don't like 3 a lot. 1 is pretty dated. 2 and 4, however, are very, very, very good games. Great times. And yeah, that's about it. Go play the games out of 10.
Night, 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 night.
Will you please?
Lighthouse is directed by David Bruckner and is about a woman who's going through a bad time. Her husband has committed suicide, so she is obviously not too happy about that. She's a bit upset, I mean, I guess so. So it's a psychological thriller where you're not really sure what's real. You're not sure what's going on. It looks really neat. It's very confusing. However, this movie is so boring. It never goes anywhere. This movie ended and my initial reaction was, I think I get it, but what was the point? Why did we take so long to get to that? Because by the final, like, I don't know, 10 minutes, and when shit hits the fan, it hits the fan for about 5 minutes and it stops hitting the fan. And it's just over. It's really weird. I think they have a cool little message in here. Sort of. There's not really a message. I'll be honest, there's not really a message. It's not really a message. It's more just like a story with no message. And I just think the way it tries to execute its story is really flat. It's boring. Nothing happens. Like, at all. It's not even suggested that things happen. Things just don't happen. For example, there's this whole scene where she sees reflections of herself running, but it never comes back into the story at all. It's just her running. It's really weird. I don't know. Wasn't for me. If you liked it, good on you. I did not enjoy it. I found it very, very boring and kind of pointless. I do like the main actress's performance, and I think there are some funny lines, and it is very, very well shot. There are some really cool looking scenes in the movie, but it doesn't, you know, matter when your story makes me bored. Really bored. Bored out of 10. Very boring. Probably the most boring movie on this entire list, I'm not gonna lie.
Shadow, what the fuck are you talking about? You're a beta male, Sonic.
This ranking is gonna upset some people, I know. I'm not a big Sonic fan. If you're a big Sonic fan, you probably like this. I think the portrayal of Sonic and Dr. Robotnik is the best part, but I just didn't like anything other than that. I'm pretty boring. It's an origin story, which is boring. I hate origin stories, and it's very rare that they're done well that aren't boring. It's very predictable and, you know, not surprising. I didn't find it very funny. I don't know, it's a very generic story. They played it very safe. And there's nothing wrong with that. They just wanted to make sure they made a solid Sonic movie, but it just wasn't for me. If you're a Sonic fan, I'm sure you loved it, but I'm not a Sonic fan, so to me this was just fine. Very mid. Extremely mid. Too mid, very boring. I fell asleep during the last bit of the movie and I woke up to Sonic doing some crazy shit where he just bounced around in the road, and I don't know. It's just very boring. I don't like it. I don't like it very much. You can leave your angry comment and go crazy. I was trying to be very generous here, but I know this rating is gonna piss anyone who watches this video off that's a Sonic fan, and I'm sorry, but it wasn't for me. So, like, I don't know, 4. I'll give it a 4. This movie gets a 4 because it's not a bad movie, and I recognize that, but to me, it's a bad movie. You know what I mean? This is my opinion. I didn't like it. I thought it was pretty bad. So, but if you told me you liked it, I get it. I do understand where you're coming from. You probably like Sonic, and for that, you know, good for you. 2 thumbs up. Don't dislike, please. Smile is a movie I was looking forward to because I heard a lot of good things, and you know me, I love a good horror movie. Unfortunately, this one is really, really bad. It's a really generic movie that is carried by an amazing performance by Sosie Bacon, who carries this movie on her back. Without her and her performance, this movie is just nothing. It's straight up nothing. There's one good scare at the very beginning of the movie that I was like, damn, that's creepy, and I had my hopes up, and then it just nothing. It's a big nothing movie. Half of the shit that happens doesn't really happen, or it kind of happens. It's just it's so generic. I predicted everything's gonna happen. There's a bunch of jump scares. There's a lot of moments in these movies that I really hate where it's something like you don't want to see, like kind of cringe, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this really gross thing or something that bad is gonna happen. Like the character does something really dumb and you know it's dumb, but for some reason they don't know it's dumb even though they should. And it's just really weird, and the way the movie and the ending is so bad. The ending is so fucking bad. I hate the ending so much. Great performance though. Sosie Bacon, I hope she's in more movies because god damn, she kills it. She kills it in this movie. And I also really like the monster design at the end, because that's the only time you see it. It's for like 5 seconds, and then the movie ends. Wish that was in the movie more. It's just a boring nothing of a movie with a great performance. And and one more thing, I should mention that the camera shots are very cool. I love the way the movie looks. It looks very cool. They use a lot of cool transitions, and the camera's always doing weird shit. You know, that's something. It was pretty cool to look at. I didn't hate this movie. That, like, I didn't hate it, right? I was like pissed off, but it's definitely not as good as everyone's saying. Not nearly as good as anyone is saying.
What was that?
Halloween Ends. Well, I sure hope it does, because this movie was bad. I'm not the biggest Halloween fan at all. I'm not grow up with the movies. I don't even think I've seen all of them. I think I've seen most of them, but I wouldn't even say that they're my favorite. I don't even really like the original one all that much. I mean, I respect it for what it did, but you know, I'm not the biggest fan. So this movie did not hit me as hard as it hit fans of this series, but I know how it hit them, and honestly, I get it. I get it, because I'd be pissed off too. This would be like if they made a fucking Friday the 13th movie, and instead of Jason, it was some fucking guy. Like, it's that bad. It makes no sense. It's so weird. The movie, everything falls apart, but it's saving grace. This movie's saving grace is it's kind of funny. It starts off with this kid getting yeeted off a balcony. Gold. Gold. The movie needed more of that goofiness to just, you know, elevate it to fun bad, but it's kind of boring. It fizzles out. But then a band. But who cares? Like, I wanted to see that, yes, but you now just spent a whole movie on this random fucking dude that you just killed in 2 seconds, and it didn't even matter. It made no sense. It made no sense. I hated that. And then they kill Michael. Actually, I think they actually kill him because Halloween Ends. Obviously, no, they're making more movies, but I don't get it. I don't get the point. Why did you make a Halloween movie if you didn't want to make a Halloween movie? I don't get it. At least the one before this, Halloween Kills, was goofy bad. And Halloween, the first one, I actually like the remake. I think the 2018 one was pretty good. So it went good, goofy, bad, fucking awful. So I don't know. Make another one. I want to see how bad these can get. You should make another one, because the rate they're going, who knows? I'm curious. I genuinely make another one. Do it like Halloween doesn't end, actually, and I'll watch it.
Oh my god!
Amsterdam's best scene is towards the beginning when Taylor Swift gets hit by a car and dies.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here.
All Hallows Eve is a short film anthology film. I said film twice, but that's what it is. Directed by Damien Leone. He would go on to make Terrifier and Terrifier 2. We'll talk about that later. This film, however, is not that good, but it has some seeds planted where you can look at it and go, oh, well, that's where he got that idea, that's where that came from, I see what he's doing. And on the budget of this movie, which was extremely low, what they were able to do is very cool, except for one, the alien one. I think the alien short is like real bad. It's real bad. Other than that one, I think the other ones are pretty good to great. Especially for, again, the budget, very small. Besides that alien one, it's a fine movie, and I also don't really like the connective tissue. I think that the acting from like the people watching the tape is really bad, and it really is kind of boring to watch and kind of annoying. And I don't love the ending. I don't hate it either. It's kind of a nothing. Like, it doesn't matter. You don't care about the characters enough, and it's not really connected enough for you to care. But there's Terrifier short in this, which I believe is just called Terrifier with Art the Clown. It's the first time you see Art the Clown as we know him, and it's great. It is just as good as it is in the future movies, and it's super fun, and it's easily, honestly, just watch that short. I think that if you like Terrifier, watch that short. That short's really good. 2 thumbs up for the effort, and 2 thumbs up for doing it on that budget, and I give it a thumbs up. You did a good job. You know, you gotta start somewhere. So it is low on this list, but it's not as bad as some of the others that will come after or before.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours. Like in some more in my veins, my culture banging with strange. I change the game, so what's my motherfucking name?
Black Adam is a superhero origin story with the Rock.
Let me in. Let me in.
Your Next is a home invasion slasher movie with a twist. Sort of, not really. I mean, people call it a twist, but it's not really a twist. It's kind of a twist, but I didn't think it was that big of a twist. It wasn't that surprising. It's not the best. It's got some good moments and some really bad moments, mostly pretty bad moments. I didn't hate watching it, but it does suffer from bad acting and too much wasting of time. I feel like it just kind of meanders around a lot. There is one scene though that I love. Well, there's a few. Like, there's some of the kills are nice and they're cool and creative, but there was a scene with a blender that is fucking insane and I love it. So blender out of 10. Fuck yeah, that scene was cool.
Two bros chilling in the hot tub, 5 feet apart cause they're not gay.
Top Gun is a movie that I watched and I didn't like it. I'm sorry guys. I know a lot of you are gonna be like, John, what do you mean it's so good? Well, it's not. It's very, very boring. I'm telling you. Nothing in the large section of, like, if they're not in the jets, dude, it's a boring movie. It's boring or gay, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what it's going for, but it's not. I didn't care. I do not like movies with cheesy dialogue that much, like overly if it's the tone of the movie does not work. Like, it tries to make things serious and with cheesiness. I don't know. It didn't work for me. The dialogue, I hate the dialogue. Dialogue's cringe. It's cringe. It's cringe. It's bad. I didn't like it. It made me roll my eyes so many times. If you like this movie, more power to you. Hey, good for you. I just think it's super fucking boring, so I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't like it. Don't kill me. And the Sonic thing in this are gonna have me crucified. Incantation is a very interesting Chinese found footage horror film that has a lot of good ideas. I just think the execution is very not good. One of the scenes had me downright laughing where they like do like a YouTube red circle and go, did you see it? I think it's so funny. It's so goofy. I like the beginning. I think the beginning's really strong with a lot of really creepy things and you don't really know what's going on. But the problem is that feeling of not knowing what's going on is so large and you feel it throughout the entire movie. You will go from point A to B and be like, I don't know if this is in the past or the future. I don't know if we're in the real time and I don't know what's going on. Even if what you're saying is cool or interesting, it's just you will never understand. Which can work in a lot of movies, but I just don't think it works that well. It didn't work for me. I was just confused, and it led to a lot of, I didn't know how to feel or what I was looking at or what I should be thinking. I like the idea of the curse. I like how they use the curse. I think it's really neat. I really think that idea should be yoinked and put into a different movie because I think this movie just wastes a lot of the potential it has. I like the acting. I think all the acting is really good. The premise is great. It's just a really cool idea for a movie. It just was not executed well enough to reach its true potential. Don't Worry Darling is a movie that had a lot of drama surrounding it with the whole spitting situation, the everyone hating each other situation, and the movie sounding like it was going to be awful. And while it's not very good, it's not a complete disaster like I thought it was going to be from what I heard. It's got a pretty cool premise. It's pretty interesting, but then it kind of meanders on and it skips over things that would be really cool to focus on. Like, there's one really cool scene at a dinner table that is pretty inconsequential, which really sucks. I was really hoping that you would linger on it more. I think that the way the story develops is way too slow. It takes way too much time to get to the part that's interesting because you already know going into the movie that something is wrong. You just don't know what's wrong. And it spends way too much time before it tells you what's wrong or like the person figure out something is wrong. And when they finally do, they don't even really do anything that interesting to try to figure it out or solve it. It's just meh. And there's a lot of things that don't get answered that make no sense, especially towards the end of the movie, which I was really looking forward to getting answers to. I really wish they did more to that. There's a lot of things that are interesting about that ending that you just don't see, which really is frustrating. It's not the worst movie ever, but I definitely don't see myself watching it again. It's a meh. It's a big old meh. It could have been something really good, I think, though, and I hope maybe in the future someone remakes this and makes it good, perhaps, maybe, please, because there's a lot of cool things you can do here. Firestarters, a movie I saw a lot of people hate, like completely dunk on, like it was the worst movie, one of the worst movies of the year, and it wasn't. It's not that bad. It's an interesting, granted, I have not seen the original. I thought the acting was pretty good. I thought the premise was cool. I liked the violence. I didn't hate this movie. I really didn't. It's not the best movie ever. It's not gonna break your mind or be groundbreaking, but it's a good movie with a cool premise, and I really like the ending, and I really like the soundtrack because John Carpenter just decided to go off. No idea why he decided to go so hard in this movie. It's not the worst thing ever. Zac Efron does great. I think the problem is the movie isn't long enough for you to get the emotional effect that it wants, and the pacing is not there to do that either. I think if this movie was a TV show, we got something. I think if this is a TV show, you take the time to give a shit, it works much better. But it's not the worst movie there, and it's not even really a bad movie. It's more of like a nothing movie, you know, you'll watch it and you'll go, yeah, I watched it. But I don't think this is one of the worst movies of the year.
You're right, Scoob. We're dealing with one sick son of a bitch.
Incident in a Ghostland is a movie made by the same guy who made Martyrs, a movie which I really love. I think it's a fantastic movie. It's probably one of my favorite horror movies of all time at this point. I love that movie. So I was very excited to see this. It's not good, it's not bad, but it's not good. There's a lot of problems with the movie because it does this weird thing where it focuses on nothing, kind of. I'm not gonna spoil this, but just bear with me. A lot of the movie is risen up by something that happens, a realization that happens is really cool, but a lot of the movie hinges on this, and I feel like if you don't buy this or if you don't like this part of the movie, there's not a lot in the other aspects for you to really like. There's a couple of scenes that are good. I really like the intro. I think the intro to this movie is like could be a short film. It's perfect. It's really well done. But I don't think the rest of the movie is nearly as strong, and I don't like a lot of these movies have the same problem where the ending is just kind of weak. I don't love the ending of this either. It's not the worst ending, but I think the way they get there is kind of stupid. I would have rather it ended when it looked like it was going to end, because I feel like that would have been stronger, but that's just me. Anyway, 2 thumbs up. No, not really. 1 thumb, half a thumb. It's half a thumb. It's got some good moments, but I'd say it's also got a bad behind the scenes story. Mr. GG made a video about it, going into detail about some of the stuff that happened behind the scenes, which is kind of fucked. I didn't like hearing about that. So that's another reason the movie's kind of low. Cause after hearing that, it just you know, it did not rub me the right way. So not the worst movie, but it's got some issues. It's got some major issues that I cannot look past.
You're going to go to Hogwarts and do spells and shit, and you're gonna be fucking pleased about it. I don't want to do your fucking spells, you basket case!
Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore is the new last installment, I hope, of the Fantastic Beasts trilogy. I've never been a huge fan of these movies. Harry Potter's great, but this is not Harry Potter. I just think that these movies are so nothing. They're tacked on. And I mean nothing in the context of nothing ever really happens. It's like the movie starts and ends, but nothing of consequence really happened. I know that one girl left, and it's fucking... I can't be fucked. This movie's so boring. I'm sorry, guys. I don't care. I don't remember anything besides Dumbledore was gay, and then he has a fight at the end, and then there's, like, blood, and they use a deer or something. I got nothing for you. This is really boring.
Whatever.
Antlers was a interesting movie, but overall it's just another movie with a good idea that is executed so lamely. It tries to focus on like abuse and family stuff, but it does it in a way with like, it doesn't work. It didn't land for me, because the way it shows the abuse is like their family is cursed by zombies or a deer or something. I don't like that. It's boring. It's really boring. These next 2 movies are just not good, dude. They're just so fucking boring. Nothing happens, and by the time the movie ends, you feel like you just wasted your time.
Dr.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is a movie that when it's working at its best, it's really good. But when it's not working at its best, which is when Sam Raimi is given the reins to make his movie that he wanted, it's just really safe and boring. If this movie was rated R and Sam Raimi was allowed to just go all out and make the movie he wanted to make, this could have easily been the best Marvel movie. I'm not even kidding. It could have been that good. Because the good stuff in this movie is really, really good. And I really, really wish we got to see the movie he wanted to make, because it could have been great. The special effects are good, the acting is good. Its action scenes range from really cool, the set pieces range from really cool to really bad. It's a mixed bag, but overall you're gonna walk out of it going, that was pretty good, that was above average, and I enjoyed myself. So, Chippendale Rescue Rangers is a movie full of references, and that's it. But it's got ugly Sonic, so you know what? That counts for something.
Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
The Candyman remake is like the original Candyman, but worse. I think maybe its cinematography is better, but it takes all of the messages and all of the themes of the first one and just kind of shoves them in your face because you're a stupid dumb baby and you didn't get it the first time. So it just kind of shoves all these messages about gentrification and, you know, racism and all that in your face just over and over again because you're a dumb baby. You don't understand. You don't get it. So it just shoves it in your face every chance it gets. Just shove it in your face. Hey, here's this, and it's really fucking annoying. So really annoying. I still think that the original Candyman is a really underrated. It's such a unique horror movie that I feel like people don't realize how good it is because of the whole Candyman, that, you know, the premise of it. It sounds generic and stupid, but you really need to watch that movie. It is so different than any horror movie you've seen because the way it unfolds is so cool. This movie kind of tries to do, it doesn't work as well because the way it does it feels a lot more tell you that these things, the themes and stuff are bad, rather than to tell you a story about Candyman. That's how I felt by the end of it. It's still got great acting and it still looks really good, but again, it's just the execution of the original premise is really bad.
What's going on with your lamp?
It's my lamp. Do you have a problem with my lamp? It's always been there.
X is a movie about porn and porn stars, and it's actually pretty deep and interesting. It's got a lot of interesting things to say, which I didn't expect. First half is much stronger than its second half. In fact, I think this movie would be better if it wasn't a horror movie. I'm not even kidding. If they just like made a drama about this, I think this movie would be so much better. First half is like actually interesting and makes you think, and I didn't expect that from a movie like this, and it's actually pretty sad, and it's just good. It's just really good. But then the second half devolves into these people are dumb, and it's a slasher movie. And I think the biggest problem with the slasher thing is that the characters don't come off as stupid in the first half, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't fit. Especially one of the characters literally was in the army, and he does something stupid. He acts dumb, and it's really weird, you know. I didn't buy the second half. I didn't think it was as near as good as the first half. It's just a boring slasher. Mia Goth, all the actors do a fantastic job. Jenna Ortega is in the movie, and they're both great. And everyone's great in the movie, so there is that. Watch it with your family. Good family movie out of 10.
Hooray!
Wallace, hold on to this.
Possessor is a movie about a hitman company that uses a machine that allows them to possess and infiltrate into places and people into places. They will infiltrate a person's mind, becoming that person, allowing them to basically wear their skin, use their body, and go and commit hits. And that is the coolest goddamn premise for a movie I've ever heard. Holy shit. And when the movie is doing that shit, it's like a 10 out of 10. I'm not even kidding. This movie is so good when it is focusing on that aspect. It's absurd how cool it is. Too bad that's only like a very small portion of the movie. The rest of the movie is the very like artsy, slow person losing their mind. It's a decent idea. I just think it's really boring the way they show it, because a lot of it is just done through very cool visuals, but again, that only gets you so far when the plot doesn't move, you know, because it kind of just stagnates for a little bit after the first hit, and you're just kind of going, and then the ending again with these fucking endings is so confusing, because the main problem I have with the movie is the main character has no emotion. And I get the idea is that they have no emotion because they've infiltrated so many people's minds, so their mind is all fucked, and they can't really, you know, they're not able to process things normally anymore. But at the same time, it's very boring, because if they don't care about what's happening to them, why the fuck would I care about what's happening to them? And by the end of the movie, I didn't give a fuck what was happening to them, and I barely even understood what was happening to them, because it didn't make sense. I really like the idea behind this movie, and I really love some scenes in this movie. The intro is really cool. I love the idea. The premise of this movie is so cool that I'm fine with the movie being a little boring. But that being said, it is pretty boring sometimes. I have not watched it since, and I don't think I'm going to again, because again, it is very slow and very boring. But there's so many cool scenes. It's just the same that they're like so short. The cool scenes are so short and separated in between really boring scenes. It's just not worth it to go through and watch the movie just for these cool scenes. But I will say that I would definitely look these scenes up on YouTube because they're cool.
What's up? What's up?
Scream 5 is the weakest Scream in the Screams. It doesn't work as well as the other three, and a large part of that is due to the fact that the creator of Scream, Wes Craven, passed away. So this is the first Scream made by someone else. And it's not a terrible movie, don't get me wrong. It's got its moments. I just think that the biggest problem is the main character. I don't know who the fuck thought that she was good enough an actor to be the, and I'm not trying to be mean, but she's really bad. She's really bad, and I think the reason she seems like she's so bad is because Jenna Ortega is also in this movie as like I say the second most important character, and she just fucking is doing fucking cartwheel acting around her, like fucking doing backflip, and I have no idea why. I hope in the next one Jenna Ortega takes the front and this girl's pushed to the side, because I didn't like her. I'm sorry. And I think what they do with her with Billy is really fucking stupid. I didn't like that. I don't like what they do with a lot of the characters in this movie. And another problem, I can't tell you who Scream, like the Ghostface is in this movie. No fucking clue. I've got no idea. I remember all of the other ones, but I can't tell you who Ghostface was in this one. Cindy Prescott back, that's cool. Everyone's back. It was nice to see all the people, but overall, it's just not as good as the rest. And but I'm hopeful for the new one, I will say. So hopefully, make this one, they learn from it, and they make a really much better sequel. Oh, one more thing. It wasn't called Five Cream. What the fuck was that about? Why was it named Five Cream? For that alone, I should put this at the bottom of the list. Elvis is a movie, a biopic that actually feels more like a movie than a biopic. It respects Elvis, and before we get into this, I'm not talking about this movie with the, I know Elvis wasn't the best dude, okay? I'm just talking about the fucking movie, so don't leave a comment like, well, actually Elvis, I know he was bad, okay? I don't care if he's bad, right? I'm talking about the movie that I watched, so please shut up. If you're typing a comment like that right now, do me a favor and just stop. Break your keyboard. You don't know how to use it. You don't deserve to have a keyboard, okay? Because you're stupid, because you didn't let me finish talking, and you think I don't know things. You're dumb. You're dumb. You're stupid. You're bad. You're dumb. Anyway, the movie is fine. I think it's got a really cool editing. I think that Tom Hanks fucking sucks. I think that Austin Butler is going to win every Oscar for the best performance, because it's not just a good performance, it's legitimately one of the best performances I've ever seen. It's actually insane. I like how the story is structured as an actual story. It doesn't tell you everything about Elvis, but the way it tells you his story and the way it does, it's very focused. It doesn't feel like a mess. And it does show you the negatives and the positives of him, and not all of them, obviously, because if they did that, well, we'd have a problem, because the movie would fall apart. It would fall apart. That being said, it's a decent movie. I enjoyed myself. I was surprised. It's a very long movie, but I didn't feel like the length. I didn't feel like it. So overall, I had a good time with it. I don't think I'm watching it again, but Austin Butler's performance alone is worth watching this movie. He is really insane.
Throw it against the wall. Tennis ball, throw it against the wall. Tennis ball, throw it against the wall. Helps me forget about my cancer.
Malignant. Malignant is a horror movie made by James Wan. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Just watch it. It's weird. It's a weird movie.
Who is that?
The Curious Case of Benjamin Button is just a really sad movie. It's so sad. I get movies can be sad, but you know what I don't get? Why make a movie that's only sad? This movie is never happy. There's not a single moment in this movie where I'm like, oh yippee, I do have a smile on my face. The CGI has not aged well. The baby old man CGI very bad. The acting is good. It's fine. It's a good movie. It's a great movie. It's well made. But the problem is, it's so sad that I never want to watch it again. I never ever want to see this movie again. It's also very long. It ruin your day. It's a movie that will ruin your day, and it's not for me, man. I don't watch movies to be like, damn, I feel awful. I don't like that. But if you like this movie, more power to you. It's a well-made movie, well acted, and it kind of reminds me of like it kind of reminds me like in the same vein of like Forrest Gump, in the terms of like, you're gonna watch it and it's gonna make you upset a little, you know? Although Forrest Gump is a much happier movie, more positive. You know, it's kind of that same vibe. It's the most comparable thing I can think of. A good movie about like accepting yourself and loving everyone around you and all that. It tells that very well, but again, it is extremely sad. If you are in a good mood, if you're having a good day, never watch that. Ever. Don't watch it. In fact, I'd say probably just avoid it. I can't imagine watching this movie and feeling good afterwards, because it will make you sad. So, this movie gets a baby Brad Pitt out of 10. The Kingsman is a Kingsmen prequel about World War I. It's pretty cool. I like the depiction of all the historical stuff. It's pretty fun. It's fast. It's lighthearted. It's nothing crazy. And it's got some great moments. It's a solid movie. It's a solid movie, but that's about it. It won't blow you away, but it also won't make you go, wow, that was stupid, or wow, that was bad. It's a perfectly above average action movie with some really great moments and some funny moments. It's just a really well-made action movie. If you like The Kingsman, I'd check it out. It's pretty good.
I mean, I guess we can play 21 questions. I'll start. So what do you want to be when you grow up?
Doritos Cool Ranch. All right, my turn. Are you a virgin?
The Virgin Suicides is a movie about, well, living life and being overparented to the point of it being dangerous, to the point where you can't like enjoy life. It's a very interesting movie with a lot to say, and I think it's pretty relevant today, even more so than it was back then. Interestingly enough, when I watched it, I was like, oh damn, back then, damn. Okay, so it's really interesting. I'd check it out. There's not a movie I've seen that's like this, because of the way they tell the story is not from the girls' perspectives, it's from their boyfriend's perspective. And the way they get these boyfriends is also very odd. It's so fucking weird. It's really a movie about overparenting, and I'm not going to spoil anything. I think going to this movie with as little information as possible is the way to go, so I'd recommend checking it out.
Jeff, you're sweating really bad.
I fucked your mom, shit lips.
Oh my god, I gotta tell you guys, I think I watched the wrong Cars movie. There was no Ka-Chow or Tow Mater or even the girl car, and I gotta say, I wish Lightning McQueen was in this movie. I really do. Look, can we just talk? If Lightning McQueen was the car in this movie, can someone make that a thing? Can we get like an edit of that? I'll watch it. I will watch the movie. I will watch it. Do you know how funny that would be? Come on. No, it would be pretty funny. It would be pretty funny. I will say, biggest disappointment again, the ending. I wanted the baby. Look, the baby was a disappointment. I'm gonna say the fucking baby disappointed to me anyway. I thought it'd be way cooler. I was hoping for so much more from that ending. That had me go throughout the whole movie. Every time that this movie got boring, I would go, okay, yeah, but we gotta see the baby though. Everyone's gonna have more of that. She's got fucking motor oil leaking out of her tits. That's crazy. This movie's insane. It's so crazy violent too. There's like a part in the movie where I don't even think I can show you any scene from this movie. I'm not even kidding. There's a part in this movie where she takes a stool and shoves it in a guy's mouth and kills him. The motivation of the main character, by the way, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know what the motivation is. I don't care, because my motivation was I wanted to see what the baby looked like. So there's that. I realize I'm being very vague, but you have to understand, if I explained to you what this movie was about, you would you wouldn't watch it because it sounds way worse if you speak it. You know, like if I told you she has sex with a car and then the car gets her pregnant, you would think that movie sucks, right? This gets a car baby out of 10.
Yeah! You're gonna die, clown! You think that's funny? I don't hear you laughing now! Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Previously, we talked about All Hallows Eve, which was made by Damien Leone, and in that anthology movie, there was a short called Terrifier with Art the Clown, and that gave birth to this movie and this wonderful, wonderful fucking clown. Holy shit. I am so glad I decided to watch this movie. I know it's low on the list, and yes, it is not a perfect movie, and that's why it looks. There are better movies because the acting isn't that good. The set, I think, is really ugly. I really hate the way the movie looks. I will say that. I think it's way too ugly, and I get that's the point, and it was a very low budget, so it gets a pass, but still, it does not look good. But fuck all that, because they got Art the Clown. They got Art the fucking Clown, and he is portrayed. I don't understand how, but the guy that plays Art the Clown is able to just convey an absurd amount of emotion. David Howard Thornton as Art the Clown might genuinely be one of my favorite horror villains ever at this point. Every time he's on screen, the movie goes from a not that great movie to a 10 out of 10. I'm not even kidding. That's how much he elevates these movies, especially this one. He fucking, oh my god. There's a part in the movie where they cross the line from him just being this like, you know, he's a little goofy guy to being full goofy. He is straight up the meme of never let them know your next move. There was literally zero chance you could possibly predict some of the shit he does in this movie because it's impossible. It's gory if you like that. I'm not a big gore guy, but the special effects are very good. They're very real, and it kind of adds to this comedy that they have where he will commit a brutal murder, something that you've never seen before, and then on the next thing he will make you laugh. Like, he's just a funny dude. The story isn't that good. The characters aren't that. I will say the characters are smart. They actually do not act stupid in this movie, which is something I appreciate. Actually, no, that's not true. One of the characters acts stupid, but she's out of the movie pretty quickly. If you like slashers, gory movies, and just a simple fun time, then this movie, mwah. Simple fun time. It's got problems that I don't love, but overall it's a great time, and on the budget they made this, holy shit, $35,000. $35,000 they made this movie. 35. That's absurd, and for that alone, 2 thumbs up, dude. That's impressive as shit. Genuinely. If you like horror movies, I honestly think you check this out just for Art. Art the Clown is incredible, and honestly carries this movie.
So dumb. It's so dumb, it's brilliant. No! It's just dumb.
Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery is a movie I was super looking forward to, and it's great. It's got the mystery goofiness, it's got the funnies, it's got the genuinely cool looking mystery aspect where you're looking at everything in the scene. Me and my good friend Eddie watched this movie, and he had a whole ass spreadsheet, and through the spreadsheet he was actually able to figure out the murderer while the movie was going on. It was pretty fun. Now you might be wondering, why is it so low? John, you like the movie so much, why is it so low? The ending. And I realized a lot of these movies keep having a bad ending, but this one, the ending of this makes no sense. It's so dumb. It's like they ran out of time and just had to throw an ending in there. Obviously, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I really hated the ending. It's a deal breaker. And in a movie where the whole point is mystery, finding out, the ending is really important for a movie like this. So if the ending doesn't work, then nothing else before it works, because you're not gonna want to give a shit about all that because you feel like you're just wasting your goddamn time. And honestly, it does feel like you waste your goddamn time because it turns out that the mystery didn't even matter that much. I think that was the point. To be fair, I will give it this. I'm pretty sure that was the point, but I still don't like it. I still don't like that ending. The performances are all good. I really like Dave Bautista's character. He's basically just like an Andrew Tate type dude. They're just really funny. It's a good, that's good. He carries a pistol around and just shoots which is good. And they play Among Us, so.
Wait, hold on.
Among Us!
Are you filming me? Dude, are you filming me? Are you filming me right now?
I really love the concept. I love the idea. I love the acting, the premise. It's all really cool. I just didn't like the premise. Hey guys, editing John here. Just wanted to say, I meant to say pacing. Not premise. The premise is really good. The pacing I don't like. That's what I meant to say. Okay, cool. Moving on. And to be fair to the movie, I think what the problem was, I knew going in what the movie was about. So maybe because I knew, it fucked it up. But even then, I feel like it only starts getting good after the main character figures out what's going on. And he realizes, hey, I gotta stop. I gotta fucking do something about this. But before then, I just didn't like it. I feel like it kind of felt like wasting time. But once it does get going, the movie's really good. It's really good. Like, the scene with the boat is actually, like, sad and scary, which surprised me. There's a lot of emotion towards the end of the movie, and I, again, love the idea behind it. And it's, again, another movie that came out a while ago that is relevant to this day. Like, super relevant today with, like, Twitch streams and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool for a movie to have that type of staying power. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really interesting, and I think watching it today, you have a new perspective that maybe the people watching it then would not have had.
I'm going to eat you! No! I did it!
Bones and All is a love story about a cannibalism story and a love story mixed into one, and it mostly works. I think the problem is the main characters are they try to make them likable, like you're supposed to root for them, but you can't. You shouldn't root for them. I think it would have been much better to show them do bad shit and go, I don't want to root for you, you're bad people, but still show that story. It would have been interesting. The main antagonist of the movie, I guess there is only really one, played by Mark Rylance. His name is Sully, and he's so fucking creepy. I hated him. Every time he was on screen, I was immediately uncomfortable, and I didn't like him, and I wanted him to go away, and I wanted him to go away so bad, but he never left. He would just linger. Every time he shows up, he just lingers around for so long, and his performance is so good. I get the idea is like, oh, accept who you are and stuff. It's weird because, again, they are cannibals, they are eating people, so a lot of the movie's themes and stuff they work, but they don't work as well because as soon as you realize, hey, they're bad, they're eating people, it just, for me, it kind of loses a lot of the staying power it would have in the themes and stuff, because it's like, these are bad people, they're eating people, they're killing people, and they're running around falling in line. It's a weird thing, which that maybe the movie made sure they'd be like, yeah, they're bad, no, they suck. I think that would have been a lot more powerful. It would have allowed for the themes to shine through more clearly, because when you're showing them in a good light, my instant reaction is, they're not good, why are you showing them like this? And it kind of misses the waters a little bit. So that's just how I feel about the themes. But the acting is really good, and I do think the themes are still pretty strong, and the movie is pretty gross. Sometimes, not all the time. A lot of times they don't show anything, which is good, because I feel like the overabundance of gore would have been pointless and weird, because that, I guess, is not the focus of the movie. Check it out. The fucking 7 or an 8.
Excellent!
Speedrun time, because I forgot to record this one. So this movie's pretty good. I enjoy it quite a bit, but a lot of that relies on the fact that I'm already liking Bill and Ted, and it's also just a very feel-good type of movie, a movie you can sit down and watch, and you'll by the end of it, you'll have a smile on your face. They know exactly what they're doing. It's exactly what you would expect it to be, and for what it is, I really enjoy it. I recommend it if you like Bill and Ted and you haven't seen it, definitely worth checking out.
Out of my way! Out of my way! Can't you see he's gonna kick my butt? Hi there, young people. Nice day today.
Kick-Ass is a superhero origin story, kind of like if superheroes were real. It does jump the shark. It does have a little goofy stuff with children being really strong and really smart, and jetpacks and all this other shit. It's very goofy, but towards the first half it uses very real with the comedy, and it's very good. It's also got a pretty heartwarming story about doing what you want to do and being who you want to be, and even if that means getting stabbed and dying, maybe. It's just a solid movie, and it was very funny. I didn't expect it to be as funny as it was, and it was very funny.
Hey, Don, you see that new movie with the blue people in it?
You mean Avatar 2?
Avatar, The Way of the Water is the sequel to Avatar. I hate Avatar. I think Avatar 1 sucks dick. I think it's really bad. I think it's really boring, and I don't think the CGI was even that impressive for the time. The water was nice, and in this movie, the water is even nicer, but with the added bonus of 1, a good story, 2, decent characters. Not all of them are good. I think Jake Sully's piece of shit in this movie, real dickhead. The CGI, there's a scene where a ship lands and burns a forest down that is so insanely good looking and genuinely intense. It's the best shot in the entire movie. I don't think people are talking about that shot enough, because when I saw that at the end, I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. How did they do that? The movie looks great. The action's really, really good. The action's great when it's there. It's not a lot of action, but when it's there, it's good. The villains are still very cartoonishly evil to the point of like silly. They don't really go into enough detail about why they're doing what they're doing. In fact, it doesn't really make sense why they're doing what they're doing. They want Jake Sully for some reason. I'm not sure why, because they don't need him for anything. He's not gonna help, so I don't get that. I do wonder, because a lot of this movie is spent like, ooh, that's beautiful. I think this movie might have, right now, I think it's great. I do love it. I think it's good. Well, I don't love it, but I think it's really good. I enjoyed myself. I think it's going to have the same problem Avatar 1 did. Maybe not as much, because I do think this story is, you know, it's a story with the characters and it's actually interesting to watch. I think that the special effects, they're going to have the same problem when it releases on, for home release, like digital, Blu-ray, all that. I don't think it's going to hit as hard. I don't think people are going to like it as much, and I think it's going to have a little bit of the same issue. Not as bad as Avatar 1, because again, it does have like a decent story. I just don't think the effects are going to, like, you seeing this in a theater is going to be great, but seeing this at home, I don't think it's going to land a lot, and a lot of those scenes that are like, damn, that's so beautiful, are not going to hit as well for the average person at home. So we'll see. I'm interested. I'm interested to see what happens at home. Let me know what you thought of it in below. I'm interested to see people's perspective on this specifically, because I feel like you're either going to enjoy it or it's going to be kind of a mixed bag, teetering towards bad, because again, the story is better, but it is not mind-blowing. It's pretty generic, and I think some of the characters, the way they react, especially Jake Sully, who's like the worst father ever, will take people out of the movie for sure. It's good though. It's a really good movie. I thought I was probably like an 8 out of 10, more like more towards a 7 than a 9, but it's solid. It's a good time.
Darcy Banker he's a bad guy. He's a really bad guy.
Green Room is really good. It's about a group, you might say, who gets captured by a group of neo-Nazis who are also a group. Much like the band, they are also a group, but much more racist. This much more racist group locks them in a room after they see a murder they've committed, and it's like, oh man, they gotta get out of that room now. And it's very cool. It's very fun. Patrick Stewart plays one of the neo-Nazis, and he does a great job. Probably the best part of the movie. It's very violent. It's very fun. It's got some moments that are kind of like, oh, whatever. I think that it's kind of slowish, sort of. The runtime is very short. There are moments where it kind of that it didn't hold my attention very well. There's definitely some times where you can not be paying attention and you won't really miss anything. But when it is like on its shit, it's very tense. It's very scary. It's entertaining. It's clever. By the end of it, it is a good time. I love the ending. I think it's very cool, and it's just a good watch. It's a nice thing to watch. I feel like it's a lot better with a crowd. Probably a bunch of friends here watch it. I watched it by myself, and still had a good time. But I feel like I might have had a better time if I watched it with friends. That's my recommendation. Watch this movie with friends. It's on HBO Max. I recommend it.
Santa. No witnesses?
Violent Night, a movie where Santa has to die hard his way out of Christmas, and it's super fun. It's awesome, cheesy Christmas one-liners and a bunch of really brutal fun action, and Santa is a fucking Viking in this, and it's actually got a good message, and like it's kind of heartwarming and actually really sweet, which I did not expect. I thought it was just gonna be like a cheesy action movie, and it mostly is, but towards the end it actually gets like pretty heartwarming. I think this is like an instant Christmas classic. I could see this being played every Christmas, so kudos to people who made this. They knew what they were doing. They made a good movie.
Have some more chicken. Have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried.
Weird. The Al Yankovic story is a very real and honestly very honest and sad biopic about the real life of Weird Al. I mean, he really went through it, you know. So it's a good movie, and you know, you respect his work with all he went through. He had a tough life, and I hope he's doing okay, you know, up there, you know, in heaven.
How could somebody misfile something? What could be easier? It's all alphabetical. You just put it in the right file. according to alphabetical order. You know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z! Huh?
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is another movie, much like the Weird Al movie, where the story is very real. It really did happen, and you've got to really respect Nick Cage's strength and courage to go out there and shoot guns at people and kill people. He kills people. I mean, Nick Cage is a murderer, and that's just a fact. I'm surprised they released this movie and it didn't get a stricter rating. I mean, he just murders people in this, and he does drugs. I can't believe he's still just walking the streets and not in jail. But hey, what do I know? It was pretty fun to watch, though. It was a funny movie, and I had a good time. Nick Cage should be in jail, though. He did commit several murders. Hello, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't have a lot to say about this movie. I watched it at the very beginning of the year, so I don't really remember a lot about it. I do remember quite enjoying it. That being said, I am going to do a speedrun review, so here we go. Unlike the first movie, this movie is good. It focuses on the cool shit more than it doesn't focus on the cool shit. And even the not cool shit is still pretty interesting because it tries to develop the characters in a way that I actually give a shit about. Although it doesn't succeed, it still tries, and I respect the effort. The jet stuff is really cool. All of it is great. The way they filmed it is crazy. People love it. I didn't love it as much as people loved it. I didn't think it was this 10 out of 10 masterpiece, but it is a very good movie, and the way it was made, the technical achievement, it is a technical masterpiece, because I don't know how the fuck they made this movie. I'm gonna be honest with you. The acting's really good. I don't understand why people said they were crying. I didn't think the movie was sad at all. I didn't think it nailed that emotional gear it wanted to. Again, I didn't like the first one, so I didn't really give a shit about the characters that much already. And I think that they don't spend enough time developing the relationship between Maverick and whatever the fuck his name is, played by a guy from Whiplash, whose name I also can't remember right now, because I didn't write the actors' names down, or the characters' name down. That being said, if they did do that, this movie would be a lot better. Still a solid movie. I enjoyed it. Lots of really cool action. You've probably already seen it. If not, check it out. It's really something to see with what they're able to do with the jets, the camera work, and it's really impressive. It's really impressive.
Ah! What the? Why would you do that?
Jackass Forever is a beautiful send-off to the Jackass films as a whole, to the people. It's just a fun, it's exactly what you want a Jackass movie to be, with a lot of ball and torture, cock and ball torture, which was surprising. I didn't love Jackass or anything growing up. I did watch it, and I did watch all the movies. It wasn't my favorite or anything, but I still have a soft spot for it, and this movie definitely knows what it's trying to be. You know, it's got the cock and ball humor, the gross out stuff, although not as much gross out stuff, which I'm a fan of. I don't think gross out stuff is particularly funny, so I'm glad there wasn't a lot of that in this one. Johnny Knoxville almost died, so you know, that's the stable of every good Jackass movie. If Johnny Knoxville doesn't almost fucking die, then what are we doing? If you like Jackass, you've probably already seen this, but definitely check it out. It's a good send-off.
Fucking cowards! Fuck you too, ugly ass face.
Black Phone is a movie starring Ethan Hawke about, well, it's not actually starring Ethan Hawke, but Ethan Hawke is the main villain. He's the main draw of the film. But the real stars of the show are the kids. You'll follow a brother and sister, mostly the brother, as he tries to escape Ethan Hawke's basement. It's very tense. It's very well made. It's just a solid horror movie. It's not going to do anything crazy out there that's going to surprise you or anything that's going to make, you know, change the game, the horror genre. Like, I think a lot of people went into this movie thinking it was going to be this new and crazy inventive thing, because this same guy who directed this also directed Sinister, which is a fucking terrifying movie, and it's very very unique in the way that it's scary, and this director is very good at horror, and I was extremely excited for it, and I'm still pleased with it. It's a very solid movie. The soundtrack is still fucked. I don't know why these soundtracks for his movies are so fucking scary, but the soundtrack to this one is no different. Terrifying. The acting is great, especially from the sister, who is so entertaining and just gives such a good performance. Both the kids do. Ethan Hawke is creepy. I like the masks. Just, I dig the movie. It's cool. It also has a really nice aesthetic to it. You absolutely believe it took place in the 70s. Any negatives I have with the movie are mostly just like minor things. Like, I feel like maybe the movie could have added a little bit more. It feels a little short, like you could have had more happen. Maybe you could have had the ending a bit different, but I still think for what it was doing and how it was done, I had a really good time with it. I enjoyed it, and it's worth checking out if you like this guy's other movies, Exorcist, Emily Rose, Sinister. I'm a big fan of this guy's work, and I like this movie. I think it's great. My second least favorite Scream movie, but I still like what it tries to do. I think that could have done a lot of things better, but I still think you get your nice Scream movie in here, a lot of fun to be had, and it's just a solid Scream movie. I'm going to talk about Scream a lot, so I'm going to keep this one really short. It's a good Scream movie. You like Scream, you will like Scream 3. Maybe you like it more, maybe you like it less than I did. Either way, I still think it's pretty good. Also, fucking crazy thing I forgot to mention. Courtney Cox's haircut in this movie is fucking insane. Whoever decided that is a psychopath. It's so bad. It looks so bad, and it's so distracting the entire time. Every time she's on screen, all I can think is, oh my god, it's the meme, the fuck me up, you know, the barber one, where he's like, fuck me up, bro. Because goddamn it, that haircut sucks. Anyway, rant about the haircut over. I don't know who decided that's bad. It's a bad haircut. It's so distracting. Barbarian is a romantic comedy about a man and a woman who just so happen to be met up in an Airbnb. They book the same house on different apps. They meet up, and it's just a goofy romantic comedy that is got some horror elements in it, but it's not a horror movie. It's just like it plays the horror up in more of a comedic sense. You know, get your family together and watch this really wholesome romantic comedy, which I'm not a big fan of romantic comedies, but this one was really good. I think that the actors really carried it, pulled it together, and made it a really wholesome, nice movie about family. Decision to Leave is a movie I was super looking forward to this year, made by the same guy who made Oldboy, Park Chan-wook. He is an amazing filmmaker who's made a lot of great movies. And here is the thing. I didn't love it. Not as much as everyone else did. I love the idea behind the movie. I like how it's paced. I love the direction it eventually heads to, but I feel like the beginning doesn't matter at all. At least to me, it seems that the beginning can be completely removed and you'd have the same movie. It's almost like two movies stitched together, because when one movie ends, another begins. It's really where the meat of the movie lies. So why the fuck is that first half even there? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think that first half is pointless. I think it would have been much more interesting if it was just complete, or at least the murder aspect was removed, because it would have then been able to focus on what the movie's actually about, because the murder aspect doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. In fact, I feel like they completely forget about that fact halfway through the movie. It's really weird. I don't love that, but I do love where the film eventually leads to, and the story it does tell is very nice. It's a simple story, told in a very cool way, and there are moments where you don't really know where it's gonna go when it is focusing on the relationship between the detective and the wife. And that's where the movie's strong suit is. It's also shot really well. It's shot really cool. I do like the movie. I just don't love it. Like most people, I've seen some people say it's a masterpiece, a 10 out of 10, it's a 9 out of 10. For me, this is a solid 8 out of 10. Sometimes it's a 7 and sometimes it's a 9, but it never reaches a 10, I'll tell you that much. It's a good movie. I don't dislike it, but I don't love it. I should have been I expected a lot more from this, and I didn't get a lot more from this. Train is a new action movie, except it's not new by the time I'm recording this because I'm bad at planning and time management and other stuff. But this movie is super fun. It's a great action movie. Brad Pitt's super funny. Everyone in the movie is super funny. Joey King gives a very bad British accent the whole time, but she's even pretty good in the movie because it's goofy, so the bad British accent kind of adds to it in a way. The acting's all good, it's fun. There's only one moment in the movie where I think it drags, and it's just one really long fucking flashback. And I think it was to set up a joke, but I didn't find the joke very funny. So every time I've watched the movie since, I've only seen it twice, but every time I watch the movie since, I watch that part and I go, damn, that's fucking boring, because it doesn't matter. It's like way too long. Anyway, that's like the biggest gripe of the movie is that one part. Everything else is just a good time. Fun. It's funny. It's very fast paced. You're gonna have to suspend your disbelief. For sure, you're gonna have to suspend your disbelief. But other than that, I think you should definitely check it out. It's on Netflix. It's a good time. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, it's just a solid movie. It's just solid action movie with fun action, fun moments. I got nothing else to say. It's just really solid and good and fun. Scream 2 is the sequel to Scream 1 and the prequel to Screams 4, 5, 6, and 3. I think they are. I mean, it could be. I mean, jury's still out on that. It could be completely unrelated. I mean, who's to say? It's a really solid sequel. It's a fun time. I don't want to, again, eventually, look, I've talked about Scream so much already. I'm trying to keep it concise. There's a lot of fun moments. The Loomis thing, the names of some of the characters are horror characters rather, pretty cool. I really like the opening sequence. I love the scene with the car. Everyone replaces their role really well. It's fun. Just a lot of great moments, a good time. People don't like the killer reveal, and I agree. It's kind of out of nowhere. It really is out of nowhere. At least I felt like that. I mean, it sort of makes sense. I mean, it makes sense, but it's also out of nowhere and kind of detached from a lot of what's going on, so it's kind of weird. It's not bad, but it's just weird. Still, fun movie. If you like Scream, you're like this, pick it up.
I'm on drugs!
Almost Famous is a movie about a kid who follows a band around touring, and he learns that they suck. They're fucking awful. He falls into their lifestyle, realizing that it is super unhealthy, predatory, stupid, and dumb. And he learns to hate the thing that he loves, and also loves new stuff. I really like the movie. I think it is very well made with great performances all around. I don't know if it's based on a true story or not, but it might be. I don't know. It's just a really good time about a kid who learns that life sucks and maybe don't look up to your heroes. Or never meet your heroes. Same difference, same, but still.
My friend has gone down. I revived him, now we're heading southbound. Now we're in the Pleasant Park streets. Look at the map, go to the marked sheet. Take me to your Xbox to play Fortnite today. You can take me Moisty Mire, but not Loot Lake.
Fresh is a romantic comedy about a couple who meet and they want to have a fresh new start in dating and life. It's very cute. I'm not a big romantic comedy guy, but this movie has a cool twist in it that makes it pretty unique. I won't spoil it, but it's very wholesome. And it's just good. It's just a good time. Very cute story, cute ending, cute dance scenes. Guy's a really good chef. It's just a good time. Solid 8 out of 10, maybe even a 9 at some points. Yeah, not much to say here. It's just a solid movie, and sometimes a solid movie is all you need. The Whale, starring the legend Brendan Fraser, directed by my favorite director, Darren Aronofsky. I was so excited for this movie. Probably my most anticipated movie besides Hellraiser, because, obviously. And I'm happy to say it doesn't disappoint. It's not as good as I thought it was going to be, but it's still really good. I just wish that it was a bit more Darren Aronofsky, I guess. A lot of his movies go off the rails and get real wacky and crazy. And there's one scene in this movie that's like, yeah, we went there. We did that. I'm happy we did it. Great scene. Obviously, Brendan Fraser is incredible in the film. I like the story. I went to see it with a friend, and it really, the story really impacted him, like, actually. Like, he watched the movie and going, damn, I felt that. It was cool. It was a cool experience. I really liked the movie. I think it definitely could have used a little bit more spice, a little bit more wackiness, maybe. I don't mean wackiness. It's a very serious movie, and it does tackle obesity and all that, but I think it could have just used a little more, a little flair. Perhaps. The acting is all good. It's a very good movie about, hey, don't let grief consume your life, and I like it. It's good. Darren Aronofsky has not failed yet in making bangers. He only makes bangers, and this is no different.
Riddle me this, Batman. What is long, hard, and has come in the middle? A penis. No, the answer is cucumber.
The Batman is the story of Batman versus the Rizzler, and the Rizzler is rizzing up everybody, and he's a Riz guy, and he's a doing a Riz, and oh boy, he sure is. I mean, he's a rizzing him up. And, you know, Batman's there too, but Rizzler's there too. You know, yep, that's it, that's the movie. It's Batman. Catwoman's there too, but again, Rizzler means front center stage. It's a good movie. It's very enjoyable. Could be a little shorter, I suppose, but other than that, I mean, it passes the Riz check. It looks really good. It sounds really good. I like Robert Pattinson as Batman. If you like Batman, you'll love this movie. I think it's the best Gotham has looked. I think it's probably my favorite Batman suit. Like, probably, well, at least live action. Like, definitely live action, my favorite. I think it's super dope. I love the soundtrack. I just love it. It's just good. It's just a really good movie, and it has its problems, and it definitely copied 7 for the ending. Like, fucking that whole scene in the apartment is from 7. They ripped it out and said, here it is, but worse. But even still, I enjoy it. It's just a good movie. It's got a lot of good stuff, and I'm very excited to see the sequel. I think that the sequel has the potential to genuinely be the best Batman movie ever made, which is really saying a lot considering The Dark Knight exists and is one of my favorite movies of all time. So the fact that I'm this hopeful and excited for the sequel should tell you that this movie's pretty good. It has problems, yes, but they don't bring the movie down too much, and I really, really enjoy this one. It's fun. I like it. It's good. 2 thumbs up.
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is a mockumentary style film, or I guess it's like documentary, but it's never a documentary, so it's a mockumentary, but it's not like a joke. You know what I mean. Anyway, it's a story of how the Shell goes about his everyday and how he lost his family, how he's trying to find his family, and it's a story about relationships, and it's really wholesome and cute, and it's just really good. The stop motions are really good. I like the animation. I love his little contraptions like the hamster ball. The movie's really funny. Like it'll have you giggling. Hamster ball, there's a leaf thing, there's a nice little zip line he has. The bed is like, yeah, it's just really cool and unique, using all these household items for his home because he doesn't have his own home, and it's great. I cannot recommend it enough. It is pretty underrated. I feel like not a lot of people talked about this. At least I didn't see it, but I really enjoyed it, and I recommend it. Check it out.
Why don't you make yourself at home here? Have a seat.
Prey is a Predator prequel, sequel, movie type deal. And it's just Predator, but what if Predator was back way in the fucking Civil War time? I don't know what time period, I'm gonna be honest. It's very reminiscent of the original Predator movie where one person is with a group of people, that group of people dies, and then this one person has to fight the Predator. It's very cool. It also contains one of the most badass, probably my favorite Predator scene in any Predator, Alien vs Predator, any of them. It's very cool. It's in a forest and he's just beating ass. And also it's very interesting to see the Predator in these situations because he always fights pretty fair most of the time. Even though it's like, it's not fair, but it's pretty fair. You know what I mean. He's just, I've always liked Predator. I think Predator is so cool and so interesting. With just how they have like this code of honor where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna beat your ass, but I'll give you a chance to fight me. Because I don't want to beat your ass too bad. Just yet. I really like the main character. I like the dog. There's a dog in this movie. Dog improves every movie most of the time, so that's huge. This is definitely in the upper echelon of Predator movies. It's probably the second best one, if I'm being honest. I think the first one's probably better because it's got just a lot more iconic stuff in it. You know, it's a classic. You can't really outdo the classic a lot of the times. But it's a lot better than any of the sequels. I mean, I don't even fucking remember anything about any of their sequels. I do remember that the Predator is in one of the Mortal Kombat games with the Xenomorph, so that's kind of fun. But yeah, it's just a good old Predator movie. If you like Predator, you've probably seen it. If not, you should check it out because it's really good. Hey guys, just wanted to say this movie is not the correct number of where I wanted it to be. In between recordings, I had skipped over it. I forgot to record it. I forgot to edit everything for it. So it is here on the list, but it would realistically be a little higher, probably like number 20. So it did get a pretty good boost due to my oopsie daisy eyeballs when I was looking over my list. And yeah. That's about it. Still a really good movie, so I'm not too mad about it. It's not the biggest deal in the world or anything, so I'm gonna break the video. I'm just saying. This should be number 20. So the video will now continue as planned. Men is a movie that got a lot of hate. It was very controversial. People thought it was very, I guess, like, being all like, men are bad or men are stupid, but I feel like I feel like a lot of people honestly missed the point of the movie, which is fair, because if you look at it on the surface, you're probably like, oh damn, it's called Men, probably about men, and it sort of is, but it's more about someone dealing with the grief and guilt and getting over it in a very unique and cool horror way with some really great performances, and I highly recommend it. I'm not going to tell you much besides, you know, you should check it out if you're interested in a kind of trippy, interesting look inside someone dealing with guilt, and it's pretty good. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would because I'm not a big fan of this director's other movies, but this one I really liked. I thought it was very cool in the way it was shot. It was nice and it's good. It's a good time. Scream 4 has one of the coolest openings in any movie I've ever seen. Really creative and cool. So is the rest of the movie. I don't like the way it's shot, but I get it's on purpose. It's made to look like one of those shitty horror movies where it's oversaturated and it's dumb and it just looks really bad. I don't know. I would have rather it just looked good. I think I would have preferred that, but the second best Scream movie still. I really enjoy it. I like the killer reveal. I love the way it ends. I think it's super fun. I love the jokes are funny. I love what they do with Cindy's character. I love what they do with pretty much all the characters. I think that the kills are probably the most creative they ever get with Scream. Can't really think of more creative. Like the movie's got everything. This movie has everything you want in a Scream movie, and it's solid. It's kind of if I could compare it, really weird comparison, but this kind of reminds me of like the Die Hard with a Vengeance to Die Hard, if that makes sense. Even though I do like Scream 2 and 3, I think...
What do you... No! This is gonna be fun. We can stay up late, swapping manly stories, and in the morning, I'm making waffles.
The Banshees of Inisherin is a movie about two friends who grow apart, and it's really good. Like, damn, this movie goes hard. This movie goes really hard. It's very sad, and it's very funny as well, about a guy who's just trying to be a friend, and another guy who's like, I don't want to be your friend. I'm an asshole. I'm being an asshole. I'm mad. I'm moody. That's basically what he is the entire time. And it's a pretty cool conversation about like, hey, what's better, making, you know, having a cool life and being like friends and stuff, or like being remembered for something like music. And it's pretty interesting, and it's very sad, and I really enjoy it. I think it's fantastic. I think it definitely is one of those movies that I don't think it's very rewatchable, but I think it's one of those movies that I can see myself thinking about all the time because of how impactful its themes are about just life in general. It's a very thought-provoking movie that is very good, and I cannot recommend it enough. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch this one. There's also a donkey that's very cute, and his name is Jenny, and that also is a big part of why I like this movie. The donkey is very cool. Terrifier 2 is the biggest surprise of the year for me because the first one I like, but I don't love. There are parts of it that are really, really good. Oh, it's the second one I didn't expect to be all that great. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, it should be fun. I heard that it was super violent, and I was like, well, I'm not a big fan of that, but we'll see. This movie is so much fun. They just made a really fun movie that will simultaneously have you going, oh my god, that was the most brutal thing I've ever seen. That was disgusting. And also, in the next scene, you'll be crying laughing because of how absurd the clown is. Art the Clown is so funny in this movie. There are so many fucking scenes where he is just being a silly little goofball for no reason. It is so funny. There's a scene where he breaks into someone's house and then he gets some water because he's thirsty. And it's like little things like that that make me go, yeah, I like this. That's funny. I like that. That's goofy. Because there's no reason he needs to go get water. It's just, it's funny. It's just like, oh, he's thirsty. I'd be thirsty too if I broke into someone's house. So yes, this makes sense. The movie has a way better narrative structure. It's nothing crazy, but you got characters that you actually don't want to see die. You got acting that's pretty much better. It's pretty decent. It's nothing crazy, but it's decent. You have a story. You know, that's nice. I like the story because there is a story. You get like some mythos with art. You get some cool sequences where you're like, oh, what's going on there? That's kind of weird. You get some theories being made. It's just, and the special effects, the budget too. The movie was made for $2,500. Well, not $2,500, $250,000. When you watch the movie, you'll be like, damn, I don't know how, because it looks insane for that budget. The special effects are incredible. The acting is alright, the special effects are where it's at. There's a scene in this movie that you've probably seen if you haven't seen the movie, in a bedroom that is so graphic that I cannot show it to you, but just trust me. Just trust me. It's certainly a something. It's a scene that happened in the movie, and it's insane. It is. They really had an idea, and they went with it. I commend them for that. This movie, if you can handle the very graphic nature, is a joy to watch. It is so much fun. It's super funny. Cannot recommend it enough. If you can handle gore, it is one of the best slashers I've seen in such a long time, because they wanted to make a movie that was just a fun watch, and they succeeded. It's super fun. 5 out of 10. I'm kidding. It's like a 9. It's like a 9. Sometimes this movie's a 10 out of 10. Sometimes it's a 9. Sometimes it's 8. The pacing, here's a negative. I'll throw a negative out there. I've been too nice. The runtime is a little long, and some of the scenes could definitely be squished down a little bit. There's a scene in the clown cafe that everyone always talks about when I see people talking about this movie. It's basically this whole song, and it's a fun song. It's a fun scene. But I feel like you could have had the song playing and this other part of the scene playing at the same time, and it would have shortened that scene and probably made it a little better, in my opinion. There's another scene in the middle of the movie where Sienna's the main character, by the way. Sienna goes to a club, and it's like, hey, she's in a club, she's dancing. It's like, that's pointless. It's a really pointless scene. I guess there's that. There's a few scenes that could definitely be cut out, but I still think that it's a really fun time.
I'm in a drive-thru a Burger King. Can I please get a Whopper Jr. with onion rings? Make it a meal so I can get a drink. No, I'm not finished, that's not everything. Can I please get a double Whopper with no cheese? Can I please get a number 2 with a large drink?
The Northman is an epic Viking adventure where you follow the Northman and he takes revenge for his family, and it's a really good time. It's got some pacing issues. I think it could have been shorter. I think that the beginning could have been handled a little bit differently. I think the action should have been more impactful. But despite these minor complaints, it's still a great film. The great visuals and music and acting. The story is pretty generic, but it's told in a visual way, more interesting. I think that it could have been way better, though, if the pacing was a little different and you didn't spend so much time before we get to the actual plot of the movie, which is when he gets to the island, shit actually starts happening. I feel like it takes a little bit too long to get there. There's a lot of scenes in between that. It's like, okay, well, whatever. Still, though, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a great time. I think it's worth watching alone just for the visuals. I think the visuals in this movie are crazy. They're really beautiful. I love the music as well. If you like Robert Eggers' other films, you'll probably like this one. You probably won't like it as much because I genuinely think it's his worst film, but his worst film is still a banger, so there's that.
Oh la la! Oh, king in the castle, king in the castle. Have a chair, I have a chair. Oh, go do this, King in the castle.
The Grand Budapest Hotel is a story about a hotel owner and his concierge or I don't know how to say that word. Okay, I'm not gonna fucking even attempt it because I don't fucking know. But them trying to clear the hotel owner's name free of murder because he didn't commit murder, and it's really fun, really interesting, cool look. I usually don't like movies like this. You might be wondering, what do you mean? I don't like movies that are like, hey, I'm gonna tell you a story about something that's already happened, but this movie does it in a way that's like, it frames it in a way that's actually kind of interesting. I think even the way the characters talk is kind of like Dory, if that makes sense. They don't talk like humans sometimes, and I think that's because it's trying to mimic the fact that a story is being told, and it's very, I love the way it's shot. I think it's really, really funny. I don't know about the ending. Not a big fan of the ending. It just kind of fucking ends for no reason in a really weird, anticlimactic way. So there's that's an issue, I guess. But other than that, it's really, really fun, well acted, really well shot. I love the music. The comedy is all there. It's really funny. The acting's great. I mean, it's just a great movie about a fucking weird ass dude who likes to fuck old women and his like a son figure type thing, like his surrogate son. It's pretty cool, pretty awesome. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. Jordan Peele's newest movie, Nope, is probably my favorite one he's made. I think it's better than Get Out, and I think it's, well, I mean, it's better than Us. Us isn't exactly what I would call a good movie. It's a movie that exists and I enjoy parts of, but it's kind of a mess. And I think that it's, again, I think that Jordan Peele is just really good at making horror movies, because even Us is still decent. It's not the best, but I still like it. Anyway, off track. Nope. Nope is awesome. It is such an interesting concept for a horror movie because it's barely about the horror. It's more about the themes. It's about like, hey, maybe we shouldn't record everything because some things aren't meant to be recorded or seen, and maybe not everything's a fucking, you know, for content. Basically, it's like the movie going, hey, Logan Paul ain't cool. Maybe we don't be like Logan Paul. As a society, we should all come together and not be filming dead bodies and horrifically tragic events because that's bad.
I really hate to say this. I think there's someone hanging right there.
And the characters are really fun. AJ and I don't remember the other character's name, and I'm not looking it up for the sake of this little review I'm doing, but they're both great. The acting's great. Keke Palmer does a great job. I really, really enjoyed this one. I think that it's great. I love the way it's shot too. There's a scene where the UFO is hovering above the house and it starts fucking bleeding on the house, and it's like fucking awesome. And the music and the sound, and oh, it's so good. It's so good, and I love it. I cannot recommend this movie enough. If you like horror, if you like Jordan Peele's other movies, you will love this one. I think it's his best movie yet.
Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper, Flame Grill taste with perfect toppers. I rule this day.
The Menu. I love The Menu. Oh my god, I'm so excited to talk about this one. This one is another one that's pretty controversial. I've seen a lot of people dunk on this movie because apparently bad to talk how rich people are bad and crazy and weird, even though rich people are bad and crazy and weird. So this movie makes fun of that a lot, and it's cool. It's really creative and funny. I love Ralph Fiennes' character. He's fucking great. He's awesome. His delivery is so funny sometimes. I think Anya Taylor-Joy does a great job. The guy who plays Beast in the X-Men movies, who's in other movies that are really good, but I can never remember his name, is really good. I think that the concept is really good. I love the ending. Actually, I love this ending. Shocker, we got a good ending, guys. Ding, 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 a good ending alert. What a fun movie. I love it because there's so much going on in every scene because they're all basically the entire movie takes place in this one room, this one kitchen. It's like a dining room and a kitchen. It takes place there. So you can hear all the characters talking in the background. Like they're having full conversations about what's going on. You can hear it all at the same time. And there's just, you hear everything all at the same time. But the sound design is so cool because if you're listening, oh, I want to hear this conversation, or I want to hear what this is going on. There's a scene where someone is being hung from a thing, and there's a timer, and you can hear the timer going the entire time while everyone's talking, and it's just so good. I love this movie. So cool. and fun, and the acting's great, the ending's great. I really like this movie. I feel like it gets way too much hate for no fucking reason because it slaps. It's just good. I don't get the hate at all, honestly. It's just a weird movie to get mad at because I think it's paced really well. I think it's super fun. I think the characters are, even though that you don't get like a full taste of all of them, you kind of understand a lot of where they're coming from and why they're here. And it's just really cool. I don't get the hate. I like it a lot. So if that sounds interesting, if people being trapped in a kitchen with a crazy shelf sounds interesting to you, I cannot recommend this movie enough. It's really fun. What if you are a woman in a time where women are treated really bad and you're just like gaslit into fucking oblivion? And you might think gaslighting isn't that scary, but god damn it, if this movie doesn't make you fucking afraid of being gaslit, because that is this movie. It's just this woman getting lied to and over and tricked, and it's like, oh my god, and it's terrifying. It's so fucking scary, intense, and every scene is like, oh my god. Oh, it's one of the most uniquely intense movies I've ever seen, and it starts off pretty normal, genuinely. Like, you're watching it, like, oh, alright, it's pretty run-of-the-mill movie currently, and then it keeps going, and you're like, oh, okay, and then it keeps going, you're like, oh, I don't like this at all. And it's just a really well made, and it's a classic that still holds up today. I think the acting is incredible, especially from the main woman. It's just fucking insane. I don't love the ending, which maybe I just don't like movie endings, because I feel like I've said that in like almost every movie, but I don't love the ending. I think that it's supposed to be open-ended, but because I think it's a little too open-ended, and I feel like in fact it doesn't feel satisfying, because the whole movie builds up to this point, and when you finally get there, I think it would have been more in line with the theme and the tone of the film for something different to happen, which I thought was going to happen, and I thought it would have still had a it still would have been an interesting ending, and I think a better ending. It wouldn't have been a good ending, but still. If you've never seen this movie, I highly recommend it. If you can separate the art from the artist, definitely check this one out. It's a classic for a reason. Still holds up today, and I love it. I love this movie. It's great.
No, Jamie. Watch out. Watch out, Jamie. You know he's around. You know. Oh, there he is. I told you he's right around the corner.
We're finally here, the first Scream movie. I cannot recommend this movie enough. If you like horror, if you just like movies, you have to watch this. It's got so many iconic moments. Every single thing in this movie is so deliberate and smart and clever and cool. And the ending is the best in any Scream movie. I don't think they'll ever top the ending here because it's so smart. And it really does put the entire movie into a different light. When you watch it, you're like, oh shit, that's why. And it's just great. Plus Matthew Lillard's in it, and he is awesome in anything. And if he's in a movie, you probably will go out of the movie going, oh yeah, here's the best part. That's cool. There's so many genius moments. The intro sequence is iconic for words. The intro sequence is iconic for a variety of reasons. They casted Drew Barrymore just so you would think, oh, that's the main character, but a dumb bitch, no, she's not. She is now dead, and it's just great. It's a great classic movie. So many iconic moments that are probably never going to get old because they are all built into the world so perfectly. I feel like even you can watch a movie 50 years from now and you'll never be like, yep, that's dumb. I mean, obviously there's some dumb stuff because it's making fun of horror movies, it's the point, but if you haven't seen Scream, I can't recommend it enough. Check it out. Gremlins 2 is a movie I have a lot of history with now because I made a whole fucking video, a whole 40 almost 40 minute video about it because I loved it. I watched and I was like, damn, why don't more people talk about this movie? It's so good. It's completely underrated. It's incredible. The puppet work, the stop motion stuff, the humor. I mean, it's just such a good movie. And You know, I guess maybe because it's so good, Warner Bros. Decided to never let me release my video, no matter how many edits I made. So, you will not be seeing any Gremlins 2 footage here. Sorry, no fucking shot. I would like this video to be uploaded. But even with that fucking hatred and my fucking all the research I did for that video being down the drain because of fucking Warner Brothers, that is not the fault of Gremlins 2, and I will not hold it against it. But still, fucking good to note. That did happen, and I would like it on record. I did make a fucking 40-minute Gremlins 2 video, totally done, fully edited, and then I did not get to release it, so that's awesome. Anyway, rant about that over. This movie's really good. It's really good, and it's very interesting how it was made. Joe Dante, the director, basically was the only person that anyone could get to make a good Gremlins movie. Warner Brothers tried to do it with other directors and other people. It never worked. So they went back to him, and he agreed to make the movie as so long as he had a huge ass budget and could do whatever he wanted. And by God, he did. And I'm so happy he did, because this is one of the most insane movies you will ever watch, because he straight up just does whatever the fuck he wants, and it's awesome. It is like the most creative, funny, absurd movie I think I've ever seen. I love it. I think that if you have any appreciation for movies, that this is just one you have to see, because it truly is just a director doing whatever he wants, and it's awesome. It's got insane puppet work. It's just it's probably some of the most insane stop motion puppet work I've ever seen. They used remote controls for a lot of the Gremlins too, and it's insane. There's a scene in this movie that is insane. So many scenes insane, but there's one at the end that's where all the Gremlins are in, like, there's so many. It's fucking crazy. I can't recommend this movie enough. Even though Warner Brothers can eat my balls for not letting me release my video, you should check this out if you have never seen it. I cannot recommend it enough. It truly is like a legitimate masterpiece. I know that sounds crazy, but I cannot believe how good this movie is. It's fantastic.
What's in the box?
Not till you give me the
What's in
gun.
the fucking box?
You already knew that this was gonna be up here. Like, if you know me, you probably were like, oh, where's Hellraiser? It's here. It's at the top. You probably assumed this because I really like these movies, and they're really good, and they're awesome, and when there's a good one, I get really excited. This one is definitely really, really, really good. I think that it's not as good as Hellraiser 1 or 2, but it is definitely number 3 in terms of quality. I would honestly maybe even consider it better than 1 a little bit. I know that's crazy to say, but maybe just a little bit in certain aspects. I think that there's a lot this movie does right and a lot this movie could do better. I still don't know how I feel about the puzzle box. I get it. It's like a metaphor for drug abuse because it's like a needle and you stab it someone, you know, I get it. But at the same time, I think that the box in the original Hellraiser's much more interesting. Kind of got this allure to it. It's like, hey, you want to open it, you gotta choose to open it. Hey, we're not doing it. You open the box, them's the rules. But now it's like anyone, even if they're not involved. I mean, it works for this movie, but in going forward, I don't think that's going to work. I just cannot imagine it working. I think that it's so fucking dumb going forward in this movie. Granted, we're not talking about that. This movie slaps, and the way they use the box is great for this movie and this movie alone. I'm telling you, if they make another one, I'm very interested to see what they do with the box. I don't think it's gonna be as cool. New Hell Priest, very awesome. I love the design, the skin clothes. It's very, very, very cool. They actually have like a flesh coating, a practical like blood and flesh like suit underneath the skin, which is so unnecessary. Like, legitimately, they didn't need to do that, but they did. It's very cool. The design of all the Cenobites is so cool. They're creepy. The end of the movie is like a 10 out of 10. I'm not even fucking around. When they go to the house at the end and all the Cenobites show up, it's like a 10 out of 10. It's like awesome. It's fucking insane. And I love it. Lore and interesting bits to the world. I think the characters are really strong. A few negatives that I have besides the box, which I can go back and forth on in my head all day, but I don't like some of the kills for some reason. In a movie about fucking hell demons that torture and kill people, some of the deaths in this movie are just off screen for no reason. It makes no sense. It's so weird. It's like they wanted to pull back on the violence, even though it's such a big part of it. It's like kind of the point. It's not the point, it's a little bit of the point. So it's just weird for them to cut away from sometimes and show other things. It's like they weren't afraid to show like super violent shit. At the end of the movie, they show tons of shit that's super fucked, but it's like Some of the deaths are just not shown for no reason. I don't know why. Maybe the studio was like, oh, that's too much. You can't show that. I'm not sure, but I love this movie. It is a return to form for Hellraiser, and I cannot wait to see the sequel because
That's just a stupid boulder.
It's not just a boulder. It's a rock. A rock.
number 1, the best movie I saw this year, or well, last year. The best movie I saw last year is of no surprise to anyone. It was Everything Everywhere All at Once. It just slaps. It's like the most creative, fun adventure movie I've seen in years. Its editing is insane. Its acting is insane. Ki-Hye Kwan, Michelle Yeoh, their acting is off the charts. The editing, the special effects, the practical effects, the acting, the story. Oh my, the comedy, the action, it's like genuinely insane how good this movie is with how much it juggles. If you haven't seen it, you should probably get on that because it's like legitimately a fucking 10 out of 10 masterpiece that I've literally not seen a single person dunk on this movie. I can't even imagine hating this movie because you just must not have joy in your life. You must really dislike watching movies at that point. I cannot imagine hating this movie or at least not liking some aspect of it because there's so much to it. There's fucking jokes left and right. There's insane action. The editing's insane. There's so many good dramatic moments. The heartfelt story. It's just incredible, and I cannot recommend this movie enough. If you have not seen it, you should definitely watch it. It is so creative and so awesome. Easily my best movie of the year, and it's really not close. When I saw this, I was like, that's number 1. That is not only number 1. It's probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. I do not say that lightly. The movie is incredible. It is straight up fucking incredible. I saw it 2 times in theaters because I was like, I need to see that again. And then I saw it again with my cousin in theaters. So I saw it 3 times in theaters because it's that good. Can't recommend it enough. I know I'm just rambling on, but this movie, it is so good, and I'm not overhyping it. If you haven't seen it, it is a must watch. Hello guys, thank you so much for watching. If you really did watch this 2-hour-long mess, I do appreciate it. This video took me a very long time, and I'm very happy to say it's done. And I really hope you enjoyed again. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment what you thought. I'd love to hear other people's thoughts on this. And just thank you again. If you really did sit through this 2-hour thing, thank you so much. And yeah, that's about it. I've been working really hard on this for a very long time, so I'm gonna keep this short and sweet and just say thank you very much. Bye.